Hello, everyone, and welcome to new subscribers and YouTube members. So today is a very interesting topic that I'm going to address, and it's about how we deal with karmic residue and the role of the planetary positions or the planetary energies. A lot of people feel stagnant, afraid, sometimes even paranoid about the way they feel in a particular astrocycle, or when certain planets go retrograde. They're afraid of Saturnian energy, Mercury retrograde, or any kind of supposedly planetary afflictions, and the way it invokes certain circumstances or brings up unfavorable maybe conditions or results. So today we're going to get an insight and also realize that what the remedies are. So to begin with, all the planetary positions, all the astronomical celestial events, places related to your birth chart are actually connected to your energy body and the way you perceive the reality in general. When there is affliction, it means there is some type of an ancestral corruption there, some kind of information that has been passed on, and it is reflected on your chart. Now, is it a verdict? Well, we have to understand all these things very clearly. There's no verdict. There are lessons, and there is a way to dive into the corruption or bondage with the purpose of freeing oneself from it. So if you understand what each planetary energy or celestial body's energy represent in your life, and I've mentioned it in very profound and revolutionary, I would say, Astro webinar that I've given this year, or 2 webinars actually. We got it all wrong. And the way to free yourself from all these things is to embrace these energies and to perceive them through your own existence. I'm not going to go into details of what these energies are, but I'm going to talk about the remedies. When you go into, or you return into the space of your higher awareness, which is the same as the state of absorption, right? None of these energies matter. They have no impact on the actual reality with a capital R. All of these energies simply indicate your afflictions, limitations, and pursuits or ambitions. They are the energies that drag you into the so-called copulation with the projection, with the projected reality. So if you realize this, you already know the answer. These energies have no effect when you are able to remain in your natural being. And when you awaken, the real spiritual awakening starts when you return to this natural being and you also register it or recognize it with your awareness. You can say, yes, that is it, the being. And in that being, you can neutralize anything. To be able to return to that being means discipline. No planet or no celestial body, nothing in this world has any effect on anyone when you are capable of discipline. And the only sign of being disciplined is one's ability to return to one's natural being and to remain there for a long time. When you think of discipline as doing something or not doing something, that's not discipline, that's a decision. But the real discipline in terms of spiritual being, in terms of your existence as a soul in the body, and first of all, you have to gain that awareness to begin with, is your ability to return to the state of whatever you call it, absorption, equanimity. You use fancy words, yogic words, terms of, different spiritual traditions, doesn't matter. Now, the process of self-refinement is, in other words, is the process of cultivating the return, or in other words, self-worth. All your life is based on issues due to this very fact that you lack wholesomeness, or in other words, self-worth. And the whole idea of the spiritual journey lies in the process of returning to the natural being, aka the self-worth. And the self-worth is when you're bathing in the bliss and essence of your own being. No one can take it from you. When you are there, there's nothing to give and nothing to take. You are. And that isness or beingness emanates. You may know then that you've finished your karmic cycles, aka you've surpassed any celestial planetary afflictions. You don't need any remedy. That is your remedy. It is within you. When you're doing something within this projected reality, such as learning, cleaning, organizing, certainly you are cultivating this type of energies within you. And this can also be temporary remedies to ward off certain celestial afflictions, but the affliction is within. When some astrologer or wannabe tells you that you have certain astrological, astronomical afflictions, karmic afflictions, etc., what is it really? For instance, you have issues with Saturn, they say, or Mercury. It means that you are scatterbrained, or you are lazy, disorganized, procrastinating. So the moment you observe these energies with awareness and you make clear, conscious decision to refine them, you start changing the pattern of your behavior. And it means that you are gaining maturity. And the more you gain maturity, the less the impact of any celestial bodies or energies is on you. To master the world means to master your own space and to discern between the transitory and the permanent. And the only thing that is permanent, and when you dwell in there, is your essence, your unbothered awareness. And when you're there, there is no impact. When you are there, you're beyond the programming, because all the celestial energies, let's not call them bodies, energies, are non-existent. You may still be aware of the projection, and it may be valid for some beings within that projection. For you, It stops being valid. It doesn't mean you don't know. Once you got there, there's no longer entertainment of such energies because they've got dissolved by the state of absorption, and it turns from the state, which is temporary, to which you always have to return, to the being. And when you are more and more in that being, you transcend cycles, transitory timelines, and the entire encoded, projected reality and all that it represents on an elemental level, on an energetic level, etc. There are two aspects that matter. And in reality, there is no journey. The journey or the perception of the journey is also transitory until you established yourself. And once you established yourself in the reality with the capital R, even the idea of the past or the projection dissolves. You no longer care what was your past, what will be your future, who you were in the past lives, what's the influence of the planetary positions and cycles you're in. All that dissolves. But until it does, you're still there bathing in the ocean of your own delusion and societal created by the society. Illusions, projections, self-imposed punishment programs, and delusions of the world. It doesn't mean they're good or bad. They're just there for the entertaining or entertainment purposes. But once you start being deeply engrossed, grounded in your root, which is your true being, you are entertained only by it and nothing else. You've become your own beloved, and you've realized the worth beyond any words, beyond any narratives, because all the narratives are dissolved. All the beliefs, disbeliefs, this and that are dissolved in that space of greatness, the greatness of your own immortality, immortal being that's always existed there beyond any projected dreams, any human context, any false spiritual narratives. Because real spiritual being or spirituality is as natural as the space itself, and it's always there. But in order to get there, we need to awake to it. We need to register, recognize it, and reevaluate our entire existence, which is based on delusions, illusions, projections, and false ambitions, which lead nowhere. But the energetic drainage, entanglements, and misinterpretation of the reality. True spirituality has no name. It is as a being emanated through the alignment between the being and the projected form of that being. But then when there is the alignment, the projected form has no error or corruption. It emanates as that antenna silently, but potently, transcending the illusions of everyone who comes in touch with it. Be that vessel of the truth. And the word truth means the same as the word being. This frequency shatters all the illusions of the past eras to bring the truth to those who still keep even the slightest connection to that higher existence. It doesn't cost anything, but it's invaluable. It can't be recognized by many because there are very few of beings who are that. The truth strikes like a lightning and burns like fire. As long as you choose to stay in the illusion and delusion of yourself or your bloodlines, you'll remain in bondage and suffering. And between freedom and bondage, there's a very fine line. It's a shift. It's an internal shift. It's a perceptional shift. It's something that no one can give and no one can take. You can only be it or not be it, emanate it or not. Can you face the truth with a T, capital T? When you face the real truth, it hurts because it's a mirror of who you are still not. And as long as you reflect your own karmic limitations, work with them, dive into them fearlessly, courageously, and you'll reach the bottom. You'll know the being. And then you'll realize there's no top or bottom. There's only the reality with a capital R. And that perception of the reality, even for a second, will shatter your ego. That lack of humility, that feeling that you know it all, you've figured it out. It just simply can't be. When doing, an inertia collapse, there is being, the reality that reveals itself. And may those who carry this essence be awakened now to that being, because you are very few at this point of time. At the cycle and the timeline you still exist in. Thank you.